Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And now, the stories you may not see on TV. It's time for another episode of All Politics Are Local with your host, Barry D.
Yes, it's me, Barry D, and I am here to bring you another episode of All Politics Are Local.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Oh, I intend to. As usual, I am broadcasting from the 17th floor of the WCHE Corporate Building Studios at 105 West Gay Street in Westchester. The elevator is still broken, so I'm really getting my steps in. Oh. Yeah, that's it. Got a busy schedule today, so no shameless plug for any businesses today. A tradition here on my show. I'm not changing it for the new year, but just not today. At the helm today, steering the ship, is the Chief Control Board Operating Officer and all-around good guy, Eric Clambera. If you have an opposing view about that, be sure to let WCHE know. To date, Eric has 1,000 accident and complaint-free days. For that, we are proud to announce he gets an all-expense paid, including airfare, weekend trip to Marcus Hook, including in the package is also a tour of the oil refinery, and not one, but all meals and entertainment provided by Lou Turks. Lou Turks, a decades-old establishment located in Essington, Pennsylvania. Your experience there may give you more than just memories that last a lifetime. Eric, please do not send me a postcard when you go on that trip. For today's non-call-in show, I have my monologue, 15 Minutes with Jack. My guest today is a newly minted first-time councilman for the Borough of Malvern.
All right.
Well, now it's that time of the show where we do a little time travel. You know, I actually got a little flack. Got some emails from listeners. They were upset that I wasn't on last week because they really needed this segment here. So we're back. So back about 25 years is where we're going. 25 years ago, when commercials could be commercials, when poking fun of people was just a joke and feelings didn't get hurt. The safe room was for home invasions, not for crime because someone picked on you. And marketing was about selling a product, not telling people how wonderful and virtuous your company is. Let's climb into that time machine and go back together and laugh at someone. And by the way, we are now in the 250th birthday year of our country. Be sure to get one of these products for your 4th of July.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
This 4th of July, we salute you, Mr. Backyard Bug Zapper Inventor.
Mr. Backyard Bug Zapper Inventor.
Not content to harmlessly repel insects with lotion, you discovered a way to fry them with electricity until their bodies explode.
Zap-kaboom.
Ah, the sounds of summer. Crickets chirping, birds singing, the blood-curdling scream of a moth having 700 volts of electricity shoot through its body.
Music to my ears.
Every night, a magical explosion of exoskeleton and insect goo that can only mean one thing. Summer's here.
Die, bugs, die.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Junebug Blaster, then sit back and watch the fireworks.
Mr. Backyard Bug Zapper Inventor.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, Cartersville, Georgia.
Let's move on to my monologue. Several weeks ago, my clothes washer dried. You know, that just happens, right? Appliances fail. Parts break. Things don't last forever. It's just part of life. I mean, washers undergo some serious stress. Overloading.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. My God. Overloading them. Tons of clothes. Several loads a week. But let's start from the beginning. I bought my first washer 1997. Actually, it's a washer and dryer, a gas dryer. It uses much less electricity, and the gas is cheap. But we're talking about washers here, not dryers. Anyway, I bought this pair of appliances, and they worked. They weren't the cheapest models, but certainly not the most expensive. 22-pound capacity Gen Airs. The dryer sometimes got overloaded, and I've had to replace the belt and tensioner, and there's these things called glides and rollers, and that's mostly from it getting overloaded. I've replaced them twice or three times over the years. It's still working fine. Anyway, let's flash forward to 2025. My washer dies, and I think to myself, well, washer, I could probably fix you, but there's some rust on the bottom. Not bad, mind you, but you're 26 years old. The value just can't be that much anymore, right? So I'm just going to replace it because I don't even know if I can find the clock mechanism to fix the old girl. So I just replace it. Last thing I wanted to do is put $400 into a machine that I can replace for $600. I mean, economically, that works, right? You know? So I take a trip to the scratch and dent appliance store to buy me a shiny new but somewhat discounted clothes washer. There's going to be a new romance as we spend the next quarter century aging together. I pick up a beautiful Maytag top loader because front loaders are like trendy supermodels. They were hot for the moment, and then you discover what you ended up with wasn't really what you wanted. You were sold a bad bill of goods with those things. They were masked as the hottest, sexiest thing you'll ever find. You know, while the supermodel is often a combination of strategically placed makeup and an issue with anorexia with a smattering of psychological imbalance, a front-load washer promises saving water and energy while not disclosing all the downsides of leaking seals, complicated engineering, and a warranty that isn't worth the paper it's written on. So, you're attracted to both the supermodel and the front-loader washer, but in the end, it's going to end up in disappointment and also end up costing you boatloads. So, as the end is near for both of those relationships, I assure you, you're not going to be happy. So I selected the natural beauty of a top-load machine, a Maytag, built in America, Team America, F yeah. This had that country beauty, the essence of a Midwest girl that doesn't need to all be decorated up to just be stunning. Built right in Ohio, American labor. That's what I'm talking about. I bring her home to meet Mom, and they bond immediately. Well, she has some quirks, an unusual routine, if you will, when you start it up. The clothes get washed, and the spin cycle leaves the laundry almost completely dry. I mean, it spins up. Almost about to break the sound barrier. Now, sure, there's a bunch of, weird sensing as it gets ready to do the actual washing. Some spits, buzzes, whirs, all part of these special sensors I didn't know she was outfitted with. What I bought was what I thought was a simple farm girl. Known for, having a water temp dial and a dial for what cycle you wanted, and that was it. But as it turns out, she's a high-tech farm girl, but she puts in the work. Our love affair goes on for 1 year and 2 months. Then tragedy struck. One day not long ago, she took on water but couldn't let it go. With a load of clothes, she went into paralysis and had to be triaged. The wet clothes were extracted from her belly and the water was physically drained. And this is when some terrible discoveries were made about the new love of my life. She has a computer like her supermodel cousin, the front loader. It turns out, if they have twinkling eyes of several LED lights alerting you of their cycles, I feel like I wish some women had that too. They have a computer. But this problem really isn't a problem because I got the best insurance in the world to protect her. I bought a machine with a 10-year warranty. Like a knight in shining armor, I will rescue this fair maiden from this tragedy of sickness that has befallen her because we are destined to spend decades together. I pull out the information package and look up that 10-year warranty. Hang in there, darling. The doctors are on their way, but they're going to need me to fill out some insurance forms. I rifle through the documentation. There it is, like a rescue flare shot into the darkness, seen by a boat on the horizon. And I begin to read all about the warranty that my girl has that makes her the one that came home with me. Hell, it was emblazoned right on the top of her in the finest shiny gold stickers. 10-year warranty. We are just moments from having a cure to her ailment. But are we? The warranty is exactly 1 year from the date of purchase, by the way. Yeah, that's longer than the appliance store lasted that I purchased it from. That place is boarded up and left. But I thought it said 10 years. I know the sticker said 10 years. Yes, it is. But here's what gets a little bit more complicated, like a mail-order bride. See, it's 1 year on everything, parts and labor. That includes that fancy-schmancy computer. After that, the 9 remaining is on the drum. The part you put your clothes in. The part that's made of stainless steel and has very little chance of rotting away unless you use salt water to wash your clothes. So I spent a ton of time on her as a field surgeon, determining the combination of voodoo rituals of pushing buttons and dials, as well as mechanical disassemblies, all gleaned from hours of YouTube searches. I actually brought her back to life. I got the computer, went through all these processes, And she came back to life. She winked at me with her little LEDs, and we both smiled. Well, I smiled. She just winked. So, with all the confidence in the world, I put clothes in, threw a little detergent in, set up a wash cycle, and she filled with water, and all was good. Then it all started all over again. The problem was far deeper. She just stopped. I had to extract gallons of fluid from her belly. Had to take out the wet clothes. Then I tipped her on her back to check her discharge pump, and as I did, she slipped down the basement wall the last 2 feet, hitting a fitting on the house plumbing, shearing the CPVC pipe clean off, and immediately the basement started taking on water like the Titanic, and I swear I heard her say, "I will always love you, Jack." Well, my name isn't Jack, and gallons of water are now spewing into the basement, and she stands between me and the main shutoff valve, located in a very tight area. I have to climb over top of her and shut the water down, and then stand her upright so I can now take the shop vac and get all the water off the floor, followed by using an industrial floor dryer I happen to have. Don't ask why I have that. After it's all cleaned up, I go to Home Depot twice because no plumbing job is complete without at least 2 jobs to get the right stuff. I get the plumbing all fixed. I now continue on to the emergency surgery with my Midwestern maiden. I take out her drain pump and I test it. It works fine. I check the wiring. It's fine. That means it's only a matter of the computer board or a bevy of sensors. Exactly what I didn't want in a relationship. So I call out the doctor for my girl, the appliance repairman. It's the holiday, and it's busy. I get it. He's pretty busy. You know, he gets out fairly quickly. $99 for the house call. He gets to work, and after an hour he turns and says, "They're all junk. It's cheaper to get a new one." A quick payment of $200, which is like paying the undertaker. He departs so I can have a few moments with my departed that I had that whirlwind romance with, and she was gone. How did this happen? I didn't want a complex relationship. I was trying to avoid that. Well, it seems the federal government passed a law in 2012 that's all about conserving water and energy, making equipment very complicated with lots of electronics and water, 2 things that really don't go together. This has forced manufacturers to put all this destined-to-fail prematurely equipment in and then package it as, look at all the options we give you that you can use to specifically and specially clean your clothes and perhaps give you the ability to fly. You know, when we used to watch the NASA rocket launches, and they're doing that countdown, it always gets stopped because some sensor or some switch doesn't make the check. And they have to stop the countdown until it's fixed, whether they're tapping on it or pull it out and put another one. I don't know. Well, that was for sending somebody into space. I just want to wash my clothes so Eric sitting next to me isn't repulsed by my smell. And as a result, we have equipment that's disposable, lasting between 10 minutes and 10 years before it's thrown away and before anyone says it's saving the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, it isn't. Now you have this stuff that was built, welded, painted, delivered, using all sorts of energy to do all that, and then thrown away or either recycled. Yes, that circuitry is toxic, by the way, or put in a landfill, and the cycle begins again. It's a fraudulent lie perpetrated. No, it's forced on the naive public. I fixed the problem. I bought the only washer built without all the computers and sensors. I checked to see what the laundromats use. They can't afford to have their equipment go down, right? It turns out their equipment doesn't have computers. I bought a Speed Queen, a name most people wouldn't even know because it's not for public consumption and not available in the box stores. Sure, it was 2.5 times the initial cost of my Midwestern love. But Ohio, where the Maytag is built, that's really just one state from the East Coast, so maybe I was misguided on the pedigree and sincerity of my Maytag washer. Sure, kind of missed Midwest, but not truly immersed in the culture. Speed Queen, now, that is Midwestern. It's built in Wisconsin for over 100 years. Durable, sturdy, with muscles that clearly demonstrate commercial industrial. And when you think about it, the actual cost of the Maytag was this: a drive to the scratch and dent store in Delaware, a drive back. The purchase price, the hours I spent trying to save her life, plus the $200 I spent on the repairman to tell me, like Bones McCoy from Star Trek, "Damn it, Jim, I'm an appliance repairman, not an exorcist." My name isn't even Jim. So really, how much more is the new washer compared to the one that just had its first birthday celebration and funeral in the same year? Delivery of the new washer cost $1,500. And that's salty, right? But consider the Speed Queen also has a 5-year full parts and labor warranty. It will cost you an additional $300 to buy an extended 3-year warranty for one of those computer gizmo, WizKid, Maytag things. And it's all of them, a man or whatever. Save the environment, pieces of disposable garbage being forced down our throats. I would say the real cost of the Maytag, if I got the extended warranty so it might last 5 years, probably would have been around $1,000. So now when you look at the cost, for 1/3 more of my purchase, I get 25 more years of use out of my next washer compared to the one I just had cremated. This is well worth the investment of having a member of the family with all the complications that will truly last more than 3 decades. Mind you, this entire problem are these complications that we didn't used to have in washers 20 years ago. Created by a law courtesy of the federal government, dead set, determined to protect us from ourselves, even if it kills us. Let's head to a commercial, pay some bills, and come back with 15 Minutes with Jack.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
And now it's time for 5 Minutes with Jack.
Been several weeks. You've been a busy man. You've been traveling around the country, in and out of the country, doing all sorts of stuff. Haven't talked to you at all. How have you been?
It seems like a year ago, Barry.
Yeah, I guess it would be because that was. Yeah, we're in 2026, so it was kind of, it was last year anyway.
It was at least last year.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to everyone's attention.
Yeah. So was your New Year's Eve good?
Barry, it was awesome, and 26 is just going to be magnificent.
Yeah. You sound very happy, like you're thinking the future is so bright you're going to need to wear shades.
The future is bright, Barry. Not quite as bright as the country of Somalia, where their GDP apparently doubled recently, Barry.
Really? What did they do?
Well, they found a way to boost their economy exponentially by just being very, how do we say, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, really? Did they develop some kind of usable fusion for energy, or did they figure out how to make flying cars efficient and economical? What?
No, Barry, you're very close. What they really did is they expanded on an old term. They just applied leering and made a bunch of money.
Leering?
Leering, yes, the power of leering, Barry.
Really? And how do they do that?
They started out by opening up many daycare centers for children, along with home health care. Oftentimes, they resided in the same place. So here we have a home health care place for services for people at home to receive health. And then, of course, having children come for daycare because, there's a lot of employment opportunities in the great state of Minnesota to where people that are working, they need to have affordable child care while they go to work. So that's the idea. So you have a job, but you have children, and you can't bring your kids to the job, so you have to find a place to take your kids while you go to work. That's kind of how the whole system. And, of course, that is from the kindness of the American taxpayer to provide that service, to help people have a leg up, to make the American dream come true.
The people I know, when they have kids and they have to put their kids in daycare, pay a fortune every week.
Every one of them that I know as well. And
I don't know. How does this work?
Not only that, Barry, those same people, not only is it extremely expensive, it's very difficult to find.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Very true. Yeah, so what's the story here? I mean, obviously, a lot of Somalis in Minneapolis, and so obviously there's a ton of people coming to them, like a lot of working families and stuff, saying, hey, let's look at all these daycare centers, let's get our kids in, maybe, and they're doing it at a more economical rate. Well, I'm not following this.
Somehow they've mastered it, Barry, and I think they thought to themselves this. Listen, little Johnny, little Molly, it's important that they leer. Mm-hmm. And through leering, they'll be able to contribute to society and be able to provide for their children. So someday that they won't have to take their children to a leering center, that they'll be able to accommodate them and be financially prepared for the future. All through the power of leering, Barry.
Jack, wait a second. I have you got a speech impediment? I think what you mean is a learning center, don't you? A learning center, not a leering center.
No, Barry. Clearly, on one of the signs of one of these mini leering centers, it's spelled leering.
Oh, so they forgot the N?
Yes, that's it.
Well, there's no N in Somalia, so maybe they don't use an N. Maybe you think that's
maybe that's it.
So, actually, I've been playing a little dumb here, Jack. I've seen bits and pieces of this, and I noticed that they peeled that off and they put on learning the other day. Can you imagine being the sign shop that said, well, after seeing all that in the news, guess who called today? We got the job of putting up learning for Learning Center. They were squeegeing on learning over leering.
Yeah, well, if no one ever saw the sign before, there was no reason to correct it, right? Because obviously no learning was taking place. This has all been a scam. And
so where's the money coming from, Jack?
From us, the American taxpayer. The fools that get up early in the morning every day, no matter what the weather conditions are, and we go to work to provide for our families to ensure that we're able to pay our taxes. Because you know as well as I do, Barry, and everyone out there, if we don't pay our taxes, things get ugly real quick.
So what you're saying is this is government-funded daycare?
Yes, in the order of billions. Billions, Barry. It's been going on for a decade.
Is this regulated, or has this been relegated, not regulated? I went to a leering center myself. Has this been relegated just to Minneapolis?
Don't think so, Barry. Apparently, Ohio is rife with it, as well as the state of Maine, which also has a large Somali contingent, the state of California, and Washington State.
Wow. I don't understand. Don't these places get inspected? I have experience with running a government office, and they just out of the blue pop in and inspect us. Anything? No inspections?
I think not, Barry. I know that one of the owners or the managers of one of the leering centers in Minneapolis did a video clip on the news stating that the important records that are required for inspection were burglarized recently. You can understand as a criminal, you'd certainly want to break into a child learning center and steal the attendance record. Yeah.
Well, what else did they take? Cash and computers? What did they do?
No, just those records.
That's so odd. So tell me something. What's the actual violation? I mean, they got kids coming in. They're doing all this stuff. What's the violation? What's going on?
There are no kids, Barry. Neighbors had reported to many...
Who's going to leer? Who's going to leer if there's
That's right. How can there be leering if there's no children to leer?
Right. So you're telling me no kids or few kids?
None. Neighbors had reported that had been there for 8 years. They never saw any kids go in or out.
And what's like a school typically get in a year from clearly from the taxpayers? How much are they getting?
It ranged from 400,000 or 500,000 to several million a year, depending on what the school was allotted or how many children they were able to have at their learning center. So, of course, the fewer you have, the less that you have, but the more you have, the more you get. Oftentimes, Barry, there was multiple learning centers at the same address under different names.
Yeah, well, that way you can put more kids in. I mean, look, we're trying to do this. It's in volume, Jack. It's volume. Everything in bulk is cheaper, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's called. I think the term is mass leering.
It could be. Well, listen, we only have like one more minute, and I have to jump. So, do you have any good quotes about leering?
One of my favorites, of course, comes from B.B. King, and it says this: "The beautiful thing about leering is nobody can take it away from you."
That is beautiful. You know, I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. I remember Bruce Lee once said a wise man can leer more from a foolish question than a fool can leer from a wise answer.
Very profound.
I live by that, especially when I leer.
And you know, Michelangelo once said, I'm still leering.
I thought he said, get me a roller. You know what Confucius said?
Please.
He who leers but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not leer is in great danger. In this case, those that weren't leering are in great danger because now they've been discovered that there is no leering going on at these leering centers. Confucius was a wise man. Give me one more.
Well, let's get it from Will Smith. A local guy.
Yeah.
The things that have been most valuable to me, I did not leer in school.
Well, you know what? That kept him out of the principal's office because he wasn't leering at the time.
That's right.
I'll close with this one.
Please.
From a beloved president, Theodore Roosevelt. You know, Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. And this has to do with immigrants, which is, you know, kind of foretelling here. Every immigrant who comes here should be required within 5 years to leer English or leave the country.
I think 5 years is very kind.
It's very kind to leer English.
Yeah.
You know, you should be able to leer straight off the boat, I always say.
Absolutely.
Well, by the way, is the government doing anything about this? We have Health and Human Services. We have a fine individual in there that is Robert Kennedy, unliked by his own party. What is he doing? Anything about this? Because this would fall under his auspices.
As of this morning, all funds for child services to the state of Minnesota have been frozen.
Oh, good for them. I think that's fantastic. Until we figure it out, why not? The biggest problem I see with all this leering center stuff is that there are certainly very good daycare centers around that state that are going to be punished, but only the ones taking taxpayer money. The private ones that are doing it off of the people that are paying for their children to be taken care of
doesn't affect them.
Doesn't affect them whatsoever. And I think you're going to find that the private industry ones that are not at the teat of government and the taxpayer are going to be just fine. And I think there's broad openings for people to take over all of those students that weren't going to the other ones to not go to theirs.
Barry, just one more note. This is pervasive in Minnesota in that it wasn't just daycare centers.
No.
It was home health care centers.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah, home health care centers, too.
And even more than that, transportation services.
I've seen the way Somalis drive. I don't think I want to ride with them. On that note, Jack, thank you for that report, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Certainly, thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
And I think actually they've since suspended it to all the centers now in the country. At least that's what I've heard. We're going to take a quick break and come back with Dan Kunze to talk about his new position on the Malvern Borough Council.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
My in-studio guest today ran and won a position in the Malvern Borough Council, and he starts, well, this week?
Monday.
That's right. There you go. Coming up.
Monday.
Dan Kunze is a first-time council member focused on practical local governance such as responsible land use, open space conservation, fiscal discipline, and making sure growth is thoughtful and aligned with the long-term health of Malvern, which is interesting because I got some quick questions on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a fun conversation. Dan works in technology and national security, which has shaped how he thinks about systems, accountability, and long-range planning. Previously, he served in the Pennsylvania Army, National Guard, and U.S. Army, and he told me that his interest in local government comes from a belief that leadership starts at the community level. I do not disagree with that at all, where decisions are tangible and trust is earned face-to-face. You know, Dan, that's like hand-to-hand combat, really.
It is.
You can't just sit at your desk in Harrisburg or Washington and go, the little people. You got a guy that comes, he drives by your house and goes, F you, Kunze.
Trust is a contact sport, my friend. Trust is a contact sport.
It's a pleasure having you on, man.
Thanks for having me.
We have met for the first time face-to-face here, and so it's great to have you on the show. So, couple things. What is the political makeup, real quick, of Malvern Borough? Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Do you have any idea?
It's primarily Democrat at this point. There was a transition that happened within the past 5 to 8 years.
Welcome to Chester County.
There you go. It's transitioned to become a Democratic.
Well, you have a lot of migration, a lot of people moving out from other areas, and they're moving out here. So, and there may be some changes due to administration. I can't speculate on that, but I know we're getting a lot of new people out here.
It's a great place to live.
It's a great place, a safe place. Got great schools.
It's a great place to live.
Beautiful open space. It's got everything, and people move that way.
I got a 20-acre park behind my house.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
There's nothing better.
Perfect. And for the listening audience, I just found out this 5 minutes ago because I typically don't ask party. What party did you run as?
Democrat.
Democrat. Always been a Democrat?
Always
been a Democrat. You grew up where?
North Wales.
Oh,
another little borough.
Right.
Montgomery County.
Right.
Dad's an electrician, mom's a nurse, real working class background.
Sure.
Been a Democrat probably since I registered because my dad was a union guy.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really consider otherwise, and that's really where I've been.
You're like, I don't know. If I did anything else, I'd be homeless.
That's what it is.
I was born and raised into a conservative Democrat family myself. They moved from Massachusetts down to Texas and then up here. And so my father was the first Democrat supervisor in Upper Euclid Township in 1968. Cool. He won against the incumbent.
That was a crazy time period.
Yeah.
67, 68.
Yeah, 68,
That was a really interesting time in America.
Nixon won. Hubert Humphrey got like one electoral vote.
That was an interesting time in America. That's cool.
There were people that were, the terrorists and things happening in Kent State.
I hate that you have to pick a side, though.
Yeah, right.
I hate that you have to pick a side.
Right. Well, I have people that that think things about me that just aren't true because instead of talking to me, they want to make assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it comes down to, well, he's a crazy conservative or something like that. No, I'm not. I'm a moderate. So, and like you said, picking a side on that, there's certain things I just look at them and go, listen, we're either going to have a conversation or we're not. I can't force you to do that. And in a lot of those cases, those people just won't have conversations with me because they'd rather their own perception.
The best thing about serving in the military is when you actually get to meet conservative folks from Alabama, Mississippi, I don't know, all over the country. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I've got to sit in this tank with you for a week.
Yeah.
We're gonna figure this out.
We're gonna figure it out.
I probably don't like you in the first 24 hours, but by the third day, we all smell and we got to figure it out.
That's right.
I don't know what else to do.
All
with
we can think about is getting from here to the bar. Right.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you figure out that it's like his granddaddy's granddaddy. Like you just got to think about it differently.
And it's funny you say that because that's one of my conversations that I have with people is that we've lost that, right? You're saying that we've lost that ability to talk with other people because we can pick our own news now. We can pick everything, right? So now you're not immersed.
No, it's not. You don't pick it. Yeah. The algorithm picks it for you.
So well,
you don't. You're not. You're actually not.
You
brother,
think you're picking it.
You're not picking it.
Well,
so they're picking it for you.
Facebook gives you your choice. They say, "Would you like to see more of this?"
Okay.
But then they're also monitoring it.
Yeah, totally.
It gives the illusion they care.
Yeah. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't at all.
And it's almost a brainwashing, right?
It's 100%. It's getting piped right into your phone. It's like within your 12 inches of your face and staring at you all day.
Yeah, that's exactly. And you're like, yeah, that's.
I agree with that person.
It's
smartest person I've ever met. He agrees with me.
Exactly. I call that the Beltway mentality. Right down in Washington, they all do this stuff because they go, well, everybody agrees or whatever, in their own circles. But once you leave the Washington Beltway and go out into, the Midwest and all that, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, no, that's not what's happening here. You're out of your mind. You don't realize what's happening here.
All politics are local, I think you say.
All politics are local.
So you got the D.C. Beltway. I've lived in Arlington. I've been in the D.C. Beltway. I did some work down there. Then you have the 95 corridor, and each little and then once you get past the Appalachian Mountains, it changes.
Right.
And so it's like every little cultural center is a little bit different than the other one is.
What do I call West Virginia? The suburbs of Washington, D.C. at this point.
They are now.
Spread out far, right?
They are now. They are now.
They're like, you live in Virginia? Yeah, West Virginia. Used to be Virginia.
Yeah.
It changed.
Berkeley Springs is like another zip code of Arlington.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
100%.
It's unbelievable. So, have you ever held a political position?
No, I have never held a political position.
Really?
Never Never held an elected political position.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Committees. Did you work on committees?
When I was in Nashville, when I lived in Nashville for a while with my wife, I was on the planning commission in our little municipality.
Ooh, that's something with the growth down
big
there.
Time.
Oh
big
my
time.
God.
Yeah, big
Loved
time.
and hated all in the same meeting.
You know, dude, I never realized how much you could get through with water. You start claiming water problems, you can actually stop development. There's a lot of stuff that happens with water. And then when I was in Malvern, I was originally on like the environmental advisory committee. Just for a little bit of time there. I've always been really interested in more conservation than like if you think about the way hats you wear, right? There's environmentalism and there's conservationalist. I've always been a fisher. My dad was a hunter. Like I know those sorts of things. So I just love making sure that like the environment's like stewarded, and I think that's conservation.
You fish it out and you poison it. There's nothing left.
It breaks my heart how much stuff we're taking out of these rivers and this bays, but that's a whole other story.
Right. That's not Malvern. Does Malvern have a creeks? Right?
I got to tell you something.
Go ahead.
Hilarious. I live on Highland Avenue in Malvern, and the front half of my house is on the Valley Creek. I live on the water divide.
Okay.
Between Valley Creek and Crum Creek.
Right.
So half my house drains in each of the different directions.
Right.
So I call my house the Highland Divide because we live on, and I'm like, my wife's like, you're such a nerd. How do you know that? I'm like, well, don't you love to read maps too?
Yeah. Hello.
So we literally have a watershed impact in the middle of my house.
Oh, it's
really cool.
Riot. Now, how far away is each creek from you? Because it's a long water drainage basin, right?
So Crum Creek originates very close to my home.
Really?
It's probably within a half a mile.
Okay.
Valley Creek eventually gets there, probably a couple miles away. Valley Creek obviously goes into Schuylkill. Crum Creek goes to Delaware. And so it's just a different drain runoff. And one of the reasons I chose to run for Borough Council is because I redeveloped
to open the shipping lanes of Crum Creek.
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
No. So here I was trying to figure out what to do with my house, and I built a new house in Malvern.
Right.
And I was like, I had to put a $60,000 hole in essentially in the backyard for water management.
Water runoff. Sure.
I was like, guys, you're like that hole in the backyard is not actually in the right place for where the runoff problem is. But they didn't care where the hole was. They just wanted me to put a hole in the ground. And I was like, guys, that's not where the water problem is. The water problem is in the front of my yard. And it was not part of the consideration. So it's just like one of those like really small examples.
They're following the rules. Not necessarily what's right. And that's the problem.
The runoff's in the front yard, not in the backyard.
A government, tries to tie things up in a neat package, but we're not all the same. The buildings aren't the same, the properties aren't the same, and you and I aren't exactly the same. But they try and make it that way.
Tastes change too.
Right.
Tastes change too. So what a neighbor, and that's part of the growth of Malvern, right? What a neighbor that's lived there for 50 years wants or perceives as normal is certainly not maybe what a person that's lived there for 5 or 10 years thinks is normal. So there's a lot of tension in that change.
Well, there's a reason they filmed The Lovely Bones in Malvern, because the houses are from the 1960s, and nothing had changed in those areas. And that's why they filmed that with Mark Wahlberg, because they were like, go to Malvern because everything still looks like 1960. Throw a couple Impalas over there. And we're in 1960.
Not a lot of set change you have to do there.
No, you're good. You're good. It's done. So what landed you in Malvern?
I lived in I lived in the South for some of the Army stuff, and then I lived in Northern Virginia for a while. And then I lived in Nashville, Tennessee with my wife, and we had 3 kids in Nashville. And I was looking to come back to the Philadelphia area to raise my kids because that's where our families are at. And my old boss is my next door neighbor, and he said, "Hey man, there's this old house next door to me. It's
split level."
Oh no, it was a 1-floor Sears Craftsman, like 3-bedroom.
Oh right, the Sears houses.
It was picked
it out of the catalog.
My wife was none too pleased when I said yes to this thing, but I'm like, babe, just have a vision.
Honey,
here.
It's a Sears house.
It's gonna work out. So I ended up.
It's from the 30s. It's solid.
No, it was not solid. Though. It was gross. Like there was termites in it. It was not good. She's like, you are the worst.
The termites were nervous and they were leaving.
The termites are gone. So we ended up finding this beautiful gem of a location just before COVID. I bought the lot and was able to rebuild a new house on that lot.
That's
I got
awesome.
the baseball fields right behind me. I got the Little League fields right behind me. My bedroom window looks at the field that my 8-year-old plays on, which is pretty cool.
Right.
It's awesome.
Do they have lights on it?
No, that's
Yeah,
a
I was
whole.
gonna say.
That's a whole issue, man. It's a whole issue. That would open a can of worms we don't want to go down here.
No, exactly. So, what do you see as? I'll tell you what. You know what we're going to do before I get down this, because we'll end up talking about this for a while. Issues of what you see need to be done. Why don't we jump to a commercial break? Because we got to pay bills.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. We're going to come back and we're going to talk more with Dan Kunze.
Sounds great.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
All right, I am back with Dan Kunze, a newly minted councilman for
Monday.
Monday.
Don't rush me.
You
there.
didn't swear in yet?
Monday.
Okay,
Monday
because you can
Monday
swear
evening.
in front of a notary if you want.
Monday evening.
You're doing it
the
right
whole,
there.
Yeah, the whole group.
But
It'll be
hand on the Bible.
Yeah, 100%. My kids get to see it too.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Where is the Borough Hall there?
It's right off of Warren. The First Baptist Church in Warren. It's right there.
Oh,
on the corner.
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah. Malvern isn't a place I really frequent because it's like off the beaten path for me.
Yeah,
okay? Yeah. Turn at the Cube Smart and head up the hill.
That's one way to get there. Yeah.
So it's not me. I have probably flown over it more than I've driven through it with my balloon, and that's never a good way to go. When the wind's going that way, it's not good. No, because then you're heading over towards the backside of Paoli, and all the trees are really tall, and the lots are small, and it's a problem.
I saw a bald eagle flying there yesterday.
Really?
Right where you're describing.
Oh, my God.
I was taking my son to the Upper Main Line Y. We were going to go play basketball. And there was this beautiful bald eagle flying in the backside of Paoli in those tall trees.
Oh, there's Sugartown Road.
God bless America.
Sugartown Road.
No, we were going out Paoli Pike.
Okay.
And so it was that bear right onto I don't remember the name of the road, but it's whatever that bear right is right there. And it's down there.
Yeah, they're really becoming more prevalent. Down Conowingo Dam, there's just flocks of bald eagles, and they are moving out. Marsh Creek has several of them. There was one right next to my office a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome.
He was tearing something up.
I love it.
Some old deer or something. He was tearing into it.
I love it.
Yeah, so we're getting more nesting, and that's awesome. And you see those big nests, man. They're massive. Actually, way back when, I used to have a karate school at the Taekwondo school at the Upper Main Line Y.
Oh,
back
cool.
in my 20s, yeah.
Well, you should come to Malvern a couple more times. I'll treat you to lunch.
Come visit.
We'll go to the Flying Pig.
Yeah, you got a hell of a meat market over there, too.
We do. Worrell's, yeah.
Worrell's, yeah. Yeah, I knew Johnny Worrell for a number of years. I haven't seen him in a long time, but yeah, man. People wait in line for that stuff. Come the holidays, out the door.
You should have seen it just before Christmas. I take my kids to that.
Right?
I take my kids to that little Wawa right there because they're like, Daddy, can I get a cream cheese bagel? Sure, babes.
They still have the old vintage Wawa there?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah,
really?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's St. Anthony's, England's, a bunch of other little consignment stores, and then Worrell's, and then Wawa. Yeah. It's great.
That's like when you see that, you're like, that's the coolest because you don't see that with stores anymore. But that meat market is rocking it.
No, it is rocking it.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, what do you see as issues that you want to work with the borough? Obviously, you had to be inspired to want to be on council.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have an agenda. You can be agenda free, but you can look at things and go, yeah, you know what? We should really be working on X.
Yeah, I've been involved in politics for like 25 years. Mm-hmm. I've had a professional career. I worked for a state rep when I went to community college. I went to community college, and I worked for a state rep back then. And I've kind of been loosely involved in politics ever since.
Out there on the periphery.
Yeah, as a staffer or as a supporter or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. There is something. Tom Buglio called me and said, "Hey, would you be consider running for borough council?" I was like, wait, what's the job? Like, what do I do? Like, what do I do besides have half the community not like me? Like,
besides the downside.
Besides the downside where half the people are going to hate you, what do you do? And the answer is he gave me kind of three. Like, you set the budget, you set some policy direction, and then you make ultimately decisions as they bubble up to you. Mm-hmm. It's essentially the way it looks at it. And the two things that I'm most specifically interested in are public works and finance.
Mm-hmm. Public works, man, a lot of disintegration in public works. You know, the money's not there to upgrade. I
am super fascinated by it. I'm what I've done most of my professional career is fixing broken government systems. Like I sell to the United States Department of Defense now. I sell to big Fortune 500 companies, and when you get under the covers of some of these old companies and old organizations, and they're running 1960s COBOL or 1970s COBOL programming.
COBOL and Fortran. We're knocking
literally,
it dead.
Literally, dude. Like we're running old school computer programming code.
That there is a 286.
Hey, why can't we do AI? I'm like, you can't do AI because you're running on.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what it is.
You're on a 1-bit machine.
The 90-year-old developer doesn't live. He's not alive anymore, right? And so I think in a lot of ways, that's
I have more power in my cell phone than you have in this building.
Right. I have all the compute power in my pocket, and you don't have any of that, right? In a lot of ways, I think our public infrastructure is kind of conceived the same way, like where our sewer systems, some of our infrastructure stuff, and I'm just like, I guess I'm fascinated by helping fix that problem. Like I want to be a part of it, and I like fixing that sort of stuff. I like finding those problems and fixing them.
Where is your sewage plant in Malvern?
It is, well, we work with Aqua now.
Oh, is that Aqua took it over?
So
okay.
it's, but it used to be back off of, like right there on Randolph Woods area.
Okay. Have you looked into what needs to be done with that at all yet? Like the infrastructure for like the sewage?
I've had some conversations about it. My goal for the next 6 to 9 months, I think, is any goal that you come in as a new person, because I'm not a very long-term resident of Malvern. I'm relatively new. Just kind of listen and shut up for a little while. Too
many people make comments, and it's like a drama, right? It's like a soap opera. They come in, they don't even know the players, and they want to start making opinions.
Yeah.
Just shut up and watch.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to be the youngest guy in a lot of older rooms for most of my career. And as the young guy, you don't typically get a lot of respect if you come in telling people what to do.
No.
Especially when you look like a kid, right? When you look young, you're like, you should probably shut up and go in the back.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, since this is radio and you really can't see Dan, he has a baby face. He's in his 40s, but I took him for like 32, 35 years old.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So there's two of us in the room, same way, right?
I'll take it. But here I got a face for radio. Just get over here.
Yeah, all of us in this room.
But it's like I think the answer to the question is I don't know the things that I don't know yet. Like I don't know. I don't know exactly where forecasted budget dollars come from. Like I have an idea of where they come from. I don't really know what the problems are yet. I have a suspicion that you've got some infrastructure problems related to like leaks in the pipes like everybody else does. I just don't know. I don't know where all the problems exist at. And most importantly, I don't know which problems are solvable. Like there are certain things you just can't solve. Like at least yet. So you got to figure out which ones are approachable, which ones are not, and then you have to make a decision about how to solve it.
Yeah,
and that requires me to work with people that have been there much longer and work together with them to figure it out.
Right. What about, you mentioned open space and things like that. You don't really have that much open space in Malvern.
We have a ton of open space in Malvern.
Do you really?
Yeah. We have a ton of open space in Malvern.
Yeah?
There's an unbelievable amount of space in Malvern, yeah.
I had no idea. I figured it was mostly built out. I know you have like a couple, like you have a religious facility there and things like that that's open. Like I don't know if they've sold off the development rights or anything like that, but
Malvern Retreat House is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Paoli Battlefield, and I'm talking about Randolph Woods. We have a tremendous amount of open space for our community. That's pretty small.
Do you know what the square miles is or acreage
of Malvern?
Yeah, you have any idea?
I don't.
Yeah.
Paoli Battlefield 17 acres, from what I understand. Randolph Woods is probably another. I'm not going to do it the right justice, but probably another 5 to 10.
Now, Paoli Battlefield is borough owned, state owned, county owned. How do they do that?
These are the things that I'm learning.
Yeah, right.
And these are the things that I'm learning, but and I'm saying this like I'm saying this in a way that I'm learning through, right? There's a battlefield association fund, and then there's there's two different organizations that kind of support that area, from what I understand. The battlefield has got a different ownership structure, than the area that the baseball fields are on.
Right. Oh my God.
From what I understand, I'm don't
sure.
Don't target me if I don't know this right.
No, yeah, right.
But there's
the first thing that's most important is that you admit you don't know. What you don't know, and you sit back and listen.
Yeah, and I think there's been funding that's been given to them, but I don't totally understand. I don't totally understand the ownership structure of it and the way that it flows. And part of what I've done professionally is like, I always understand before I talk the ownership structure of the organizations that I sell to and the way funding flows. And until I can see that map it's hard. It's kind of like water. Until I can see the map of where it goes,
right.
It's hard for me to make an opinion about where to fix it.
And you don't want to make assumptions.
And I don't want to make assumptions because I don't totally understand even the principles that are involved that have to make decisions. And people get really opinionated without having really opinionated about things that you may not have as much control over as you think you should.
Right. Welcome to 24-hour news, right? Oh, my God.
Or Facebook market, whatever. Jeez.
Any of that stuff. So your term, how many people on the council?
7.
7 on the council. And so your term is how long?
4 years.
4 years. Well, within 2, you'll have all that under control. Within 1, you'll have most of it. There's going to be a lot of surprises.
My first year goal is to truly understand the budget and the issues that are impacted on public works. If I can understand those 2 things, like how do we truly derive a budget? We've got a great borough manager, but how do we truly derive the budget? Where does it come from, and where do we get our revenue from? And if I understand that, then I'll understand how to solve some problems and where it flows.
You're on the right track, man. Too many people come in and they go, you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. Why don't you just shut up and figure it out first? Because a lot of times they make opinions on things they don't have any experience in.
The only thing that I get agitated about, the only thing that gets me a little worked up is when people don't prepare or follow an agenda. If you want me to have a prepared conversation, we need to have an agenda, understand.
Right.
And I can't.
We're not freestyling.
I can't freestyle. I can't ad hoc some conversation with you about what should happen if I don't know how to prepare ahead of time. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, but we need to have an agenda because I need to do some research ahead of that time to be prepared for that time.
If you're going solo, that's fine. You can be Eminem and rap, but otherwise,
I'm not
if you're going in a duet, you better.
Yeah, I'm not freestyle. not good for my time or yours.
Hey, listen, we got to wrap up this conversation, but I got to tell you, it was a pleasure having you on, and I would hope that you would come back, or if something's happening in Malvern, that you'd want to either come back and even call in on the morning show.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Because I'd love you to be a regular participant because I feel that you are on the right track to do decent things for the local government.
No, I'm glad you invited me. Thank you.
I am so glad that you came on. Go ahead.
I think local government's I made this comment in the top line, but local government in the era of our national politics being crazy, which they are, local government is has the potential to be the last refuge of sanity because you actually have to know the people you're with, right?
Oh, I'm telling you.
And if you can't do something at local government, you should probably not be pursuing bigger offices.
Well, what's interesting? You were talking about real quick off air. We were talking about being ground infantry and all that, and how bad it is now between drones and space and all that. You're just a target, and it's whether they want to kill you or not. Then that's the impersonal end of battles, which started with guns, right? When it was hand-to-hand combat and you had swords, that was real.
Yeah,
okay?
Even musket.
People kind of were like, not sure I want to do this. But now it's so impersonal. People are like, it's very easy to just pull the trigger and you're done.
100%.
And that
100%.
is so that the comparison with local government. Totally agree with you.
Trust is a contact sport. Trust is a contact sport.
And by the way, it's earned, not given. If you give trust, you're a fool.
Yeah, maybe you get the benefit of the doubt until you.
That's right. Earn the trust.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Degrees of it.
That's exactly it. So it's that time. I have to wrap up the show. Oh. Yeah. I'd like to thank Dean Kunze for being my guest today, talking about becoming a councilman and the borough of Malvern. I think that's just great. And also thank you, Eric Clambaro, my producer here at All Politics Are Local. His abilities on that board are nothing short of magical. In fact, he said he can hardly wait until he figures out how to make me disappear. Eric and I are on the morning show together from 7 until 10 a.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tune in here to find out what's going on in the news and join the conversation by calling in. If you don't, we're just going to have to call you.
I don't think so.
Be sure to listen to more WCHE. They not only have some other great shows, they even broadcast some local church services on Sunday, and some of you could use some more churching. You also need to tell your friends about us if you want to know what's going on in the county. Dial in and hang out with us. WCHE is free to its listeners. Just some advertising from your local friends, the ones that provide good services and jobs. You know that. Things that make a healthy community and economy. So give us a listen, give those businesses a listen, and most importantly, give those sponsors your business. Hey, if you like my show, take the time to send a nice note to WCHE at 953WCHE.com. And for those of you that say I give you anxiety, you know what that means?
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. That's true. And a big thank you, as always, to the best radio station general manager of all in Westchester. That's Donna Saul. She always has some very insightful moments. In fact, last week at the company party, she just looked at me and said, "Remind me, who are you again?"
Yeah.
Be sure to like and follow WCAG's Facebook page, where you can keep up on all that's happening around the town and in the county. And you can see updates and videos on both my Facebook page, which is WCAG All Politics Are Local with Barry D, and my YouTube channel, All Politics Are Local with Barry D. Today's intro and outro music is the song Love Plus One from that one-hit wonder band Haircut 100 in 1982. Love Plus One was a number 37 hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 charts. And the final advice of the day, New Year, New You. Please, at least give the illusion you care about your New Year's resolutions. Pick one and stick with it for a week or two before quitting. That'd be at least one more week than you did last year. I'm Barry D for All Politics Are Local. Thanks for listening.